Hi, I'm Hassan Fayyad. I'm here to talk to you about Who We Are, an exciting project about cultural identity and diversity. And Who We Are is a project that started about a year ago. The reason why we did this video is that I can't be with you today to present it. Well, the reason I can't be with you is because I'm in Lebanon visiting my family. And strangely enough, if we go back 1 year ago, this is where the whole project started. So in July 2006, I take the plane, I head down to Beirut to spend my summer vacation. And if most of you must remember what happened that summer, the Israeli bombings on southern Lebanon and certain regions of Lebanon completely devastated the country. And I found myself stranded there with no way to get out from airplane or roads or boats. And like a lot of Canadians who were there that summer, we had to wait for the humanitarian boats that were sent by the government of Canada. So I spent about 10 to 15 days in this mayhem until I got my turn on the boat to return. So my friends and the people I knew from Montreal were extremely concerned about my situation, and well, thankfully I had my mobile phone, which allowed me to kind of send some SMS messages and tell them I'm okay. As I was living these situations, I was living it from the place, from the source, and people here were actually living it through the eyes of CNN and the media. And this whole realization about how accurate the media is and how the media portrays world events and situations in a sometimes not very objective way. It's always skewed, reality is always skewed. On the day of the evacuation, I decided to use my cell phone and become a citizen reporter and kind of document my trip back, the boat we took that stopped overnight in Cyprus, then left to Turkey. After about 12 hours by boat, which was a very insane trip, we were waited for in Turkey, and humanitarian aid was there to help us out and send us on a plane back to Montreal. So that's kind of the premise of where this whole thing began. So do you want the definition first?
Yeah, so what is Who We Are? It's intense, I'm gonna keep that. What is Who We Are, and then I don't know.
So what is Who We Are? Who We Are comes from the observation that people are usually afraid of what they don't know, and when something becomes familiar, all of a sudden the barriers are gone. And the idea of Who We Are was to represent all the diversity of the Canadian mosaic and talk about stories, people, and making a connection with those people so that we understand better what's going on in the countries where they come from and the hardships that they had lived to come and travel and come live in Canada. So Who We Are is trying to be the face of Canada. We created the Who We Are interface, and what you see here is the big mosaic, and each of those little squares is a portrait. So by clicking on the portrait, I access the person's video testimony. I can also learn more about the situation with a little background story and the little video blog that's associated to the video, where you can read and exchange and discuss with the person or the filmmaker. Now, going back to the mosaic, what you see at the bottom of the screen is world news headlines, and each of those are parsed live all the time from the web, from different sources, and aggregated on the Who We Are website. Now, what's particular is that our engine is able to parse country names from the world headlines. So what you can see here, there's Turkey, Syria, Iraq. Each of those names can be matched with countries of origins from people of the mosaic. So if I click on the first story here, as you can see, I get the reporter, and if I click on it, I can go read the story from its source. And if I click on that button here, meet people from Turkey, well, if I click on that, it will automatically highlight all the people who are from Turkish origin in the mosaic. What's going on in Turkey right now? Well, why don't you meet Turkish Canadians who are living here, and maybe their stories will enrich you and allow you to have a better sense of what's going on in their country of origin. So what about those portraits in the mosaic? Well, those portraits come from different places. First, there's the portraits that Who We Are produces, and I'll go over that in a second. We'll show you some of the clips that we worked on. But there's also clips from all sorts of communities that are contributing to Who We Are. So filmmakers, immigrant associations, whoever wants to contribute is free to contribute, and we have the editorial kind of capacity to choose the best clips that will go on the mosaic. And third, last but not least, and we found this is a very unescapable part of the web today, is also to take advantage of the wealth and the testimonies that are already online in sharing, in video sharing platforms, like YouTube is the most famous. And we did several researches, and we found hundreds of very interesting and very emotional testimonies out there on the web. And it would be too bad actually to miss those testimonies and not have them represented here. So Who We Are is produces original content, gathers content from communities of filmmakers, but also aggregates content from the web and curates that content to create that mosaic. And the mosaic is always changing, it's ever evolving. There's new portraits every day, just like there's news stories every day. And hopefully eventually it will become a true representation of the face of Canada. And so that's how we created the Who We Are project.
Terrible.
This is Who We Are, the project, as it was presented to the NFB Cross-Platform Media Challenge this summer. And we've been thrilled that the NFB has selected the project for co-production with us and our partners. So after we got this amazing news, it's back to Banff, where the project was presented as part of a panel in the World TV Festival in Banff. And again, back to Montreal before I head back to Lebanon. So here we are, about a year later, and the project's gone full circle. I'm back in Beirut. It's been a very difficult year for my country and for Lebanese people in the world. But at least somehow I feel that something good came out of it, which is the Who We Are project. And hopefully the Who We Are project is going to serve to give a voice to many more people who need to tell their story.